Yo guys, what's going on? My name is Tyler. This is Cole. We're from the Putback Podcast. Back with episode number 2. I forgot that episode 0 was episode 0, so that was great. Back with episode number 2. New week of NBA, new things to talk about. We're not gonna. Cole's got hot takes. If you guys don't know how the format, because it's relatively new, it's hot takes, and we're gonna do some quick looks talking about what happened in the league, and then some game predictions for this week. Now, I haven't let Cole talk at all, so Cole can go ahead and talk about whatever he wants to talk about real quick.
I have nothing to say. Let's get this thing rolling.
All right. Before we get into it, we gotta do some plugging. Down in the description below, the Twitter and the Instagram to follow the Putback Podcast is it's in the description below. Go ahead, drop a follow. I think the Instagram is actually almost at 10 followers. It's at like 8 or 9 right now, and I don't know why or how. But
how many of those are troll accounts though?
None. Me and you follow it, but like the other 5 or 7 followers are like people with actual accounts that post and shit. So, go us. It has more followers than we do have subscribers.
Well, that sucks.
There will be a clip going live from every podcast Sunday night, which is when we record it, on both Twitter and Instagram. So give it a follow. It's at Putback Podcast, and on Twitter I think it's at Podcast Putback, but it's still Putback Podcast. It's just how Twitter does things. It's weird.
Not to be confused with the Outback Podcast, which is totally different.
That is completely different. I don't even know what that podcast is, to be honest with you.
I didn't look at it.
Anyway, so we're going to get right into hot takes with Cole.
Right, you ready?
Yeah.
So let me drop a couple facts on you really quick.
Okay.
Russell Westbrook has the triple-double record of 42 in the 2016-2017 season. Luka has 7 so far.
My guy.
Through 15 games. Can Luka come close to breaking the record? What will he finish with?
Statistically, he's just below half, and Russell Westbrook finished with just above half, so I doubt he's going to break it. I think Luka could probably finish with 30-plus triple-doubles this year. Easily. You figure multiply what he's got by, 4.5. Luka could probably finish with at least 30, without a doubt.
Now, I wrote this down after the Cavs game. Did they have another game after the Cavs game?
I don't think so. I know they got some games coming up. I think they might have a game tonight, but I don't think they have I don't think they've had any games since. Now I literally wrote down games so I didn't have to look at the schedule, and now you got me looking at the schedule.
My bad.
Games. Dallas versus the Cavs. Mavericks, Cavs. No, they were off last night.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they play again tonight, so they were off last night.
I mean, Luka almost had a triple-double against the Cavs. He had a double-double, and then I think he had 9 assists.
Yeah, he can. Somewhere. He's big. He's 6'7". He can board for a guy that. Luka is one of those big guys that can dunk purely because he's big, but he also has got some balance. I don't think he's got a crazy, insane vertical, maybe 32, 33 inches. But he can get boards, which is dope. You gotta think for him to dunk though, he might need 18 inches of vertical.
All right.
I only need 22 inches of vertical to dunk, and I still can't do it. But I'm also 325 pounds, so.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And we both have bad knees, so at least I got someone that understands.
All right. Moving on. Sorry. Anyway. LeBron has a triple-double against all 30 teams.
That was in the quick looks, you asshole. All right, so what's the question?
My bad, bro.
What's the question?
Does Westbrook join him? Russell Westbrook has 29.
29 teams?
Yeah.
He's got drafted in 2009, I think. So he's only 10 years in. He's just
has OKC.
He doesn't have one against OKC.
Well, I'm pretty sure he doesn't, because isn't that the team he's been on for the past 8 years?
That's the team he got drafted to. If he doesn't have one against OKC this year, probably he'll get it. Because Chris Paul is a good guard, but he's not Russell Westbrook's way too explosive. And Chris Paul's a little tiny, so he's 6 foot. Westbrook's 6'4".
Gotta
I
go.
I think Westbrook's too explosive for Chris Paul to hold him from getting a. And even if they lose Chris Paul after this year, how is Westbrook not going to get a triple double against the OKC? The only reason they stayed good as long as they were was because of Westbrook. So.
And PG's gone too.
PG, Carmelo played for a little bit. Steven Adams is. They're actually advertising Steven Adams as a franchise player right now, which is very sad. Like on
very sad.
The advertisements are half and half between Chris Paul and Steven Adams, and like it blows my mind because they used to have such good players. Oladipo played there. Anyways, I go off on tangents. So what's next?
Yeah, let's not go down the tangent road today.
Yeah, that's kind of how I talk.
We all know that there's duos in the West, like Westbrook and Harden, Kawhi and PG, LeBron and AD.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the best duo in the East?
See, that's strange because there's a whole lot of teams that have duos that aren't duos, if that makes sense. Like the only true duo in the East, I think, would probably be Kyrie and KD, but they haven't played a game together.
I was gonna wait for you to say that and just like smash and be like, how many games have they played together?
Right, they haven't played. So what I mean by that is like you can consider Giannis and Chris Middleton a duo because Giannis averages damn near 30 points, Chris Middleton averages 18. That's a duo, but it's not highly advertised because the whole team is about Giannis. You know what I mean? What else is in the East? Kemba Walker, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Like there's 3 great players. Well, Kemba's kind of fucked right now, but there's 3 great players.
Yeah, we didn't mention that at the beginning.
And Gordon, like, so you think about it, like, they have 4 great players. Jason Tatum, 17 points a game. Jaylen Brown, 15 points a game. Kemba Walker's 15 points a game, if not more. And then they got,
Honestly, dude, I had wrote down Tatum and Hayward, and then Tatum kind of, So I was like, let's cross that out and change the question a little bit.
Can you lower yourself a little bit? Your head's barely off camera. Yeah.
Let's do this. Oh my God, you disappeared. There you are.
So yeah, no. There's so many good like teams in the East as far as like depth wise, but there's no like defined duos other than Kyrie and KD, and they haven't been on the court at the same time unless KD got up off his chair to cheer somebody. Like that's the only time KD put foot on the court. I really can't think of anybody else in the East. It's like. That's like that outside of Giannis and Chris Middleton.
What about the Miami? What's his face? Oh my God.
Tyler Hero. Goran Dragic. That's another case of 2. So when you think of duos, you think of like all-stars, right? That's another case of a bunch. Yeah, that's another case of a bunch of great players in one area, but none of them are like the next level. Like Jimmy Butler's an all-star, easy. But I think it's Tyler Hero. He's a monster. Don't get me wrong. But he's not an all-star. He's his rookie year. You know what I mean? Goran Dragic has been an all-star, but he's a great point guard. But as far as all-star, like he's just out of the conversation. So I don't think that's a duo.
Your audio is just slightly ahead of your face, so I don't know if.
I think that's recording lag through Skype.
Okay.
So.
All right.
We're testing out different ways to record the podcast so we can see what gets the best quality. So bear with us while we go through this phase.
Yeah. On to Miami. I'm taking my talents to South Beach. Anyway.
We're going to Miami.
Is Jimmy Butler better off with Miami than he was in Philly?
It's time for Jimmy's getting a little old, so I don't think he's ever had a team to himself. Because even when he was on the Bulls, he shared spotlight with Derrick Rose, and then he went to the Wolves and they shared spotlight with Karl-Anthony Towns and Jeff Teague and Andrew Wiggins. Now he was on the Sixers where Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, like he's never had a team to himself.
Oh, I think that's the first time we mentioned Cat during this podcast.
Probably, but that's for a good reason. I don't like Karl-Anthony Towns. He's a little bitch. Have you ever seen the video? Whoa. Have you seen the picture of DeMarcus Cousins just kind of standing there like this and Karl-Anthony Towns trying to back him down? I'll find the meme later, but like Karl-Anthony Towns is struggling so much to back DeMarcus Cousins down. DeMarcus Cousins is looking like, Like, picture Joe trying to back me down, and I just look at him like, "What are you doing?" Like, that's what that picture looks like.
Yeah, I got you.
But no, I think it's time for him to have his own team. I don't think he's gonna win a ring, but I think he's worried more about his pride than he is about a ring. If he pulled a KD, he'd just fucking go to the Lakers. Be good to go.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that starting lineup with Jimmy Butler on it?
It's kind of scared now, so.
Yeah.
So, next question is regarding that guy.
DeRozan. He went for 36 last week, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did.
They lost, not by much, but he went for 36.
Yeah, the Spurs aren't doing good. With that being said, do the Spurs trade DeRozan to try to get some draft capital?
No, and here's why. DeRozan is a back-to-the-basket mid-range specialist. Like, he fits the role of like a 90s role player. As far as the Spurs, they have two good players, and I say good because DeMar DeRozan peaked out. He peaked out when he was in Toronto. I'll be honest with you. And now they're letting him play more of his role, but because it's his type of role, they got to limit shots because you got to shoot threes to stay in the game in the league, you know? So LA, LaMarcus Aldridge, good player. DeMar DeRozan, good player. I feel like they don't have. They either need to tighten up on defense and get like a defensive monster. Like they just lost Tim Duncan. Like their defense is a little lackey, and they don't have that star to kind of push them to the next level. They have all the role players. Like this is one of those teams. Like you see a lot of teams that are like, damn, they have Kyle Lowry, all-star. They don't have any pieces to follow him. I mean, Pascal Siakam, but like.
Yeah, I got you. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I think Miami specifically, Jimmy Butler. They have Jimmy Butler, all-star. Who's around him? A rookie? A falling a PG that's 14 years into his career? Like, look at what's around him. They have the all-star. This is one of those teams that have all the role players, but no all-star. And that's due to Greg Popovich.
You said PG, and I went to Paul George. I'm like, Paul George is...
Oh, yeah, no, Goran Dragic's like a point guard. The point guard is 12, 14 years into his career. With the Spurs, they have all the role players, but they don't have that guy, which I think is causing them to. But the Spurs, like that's all Greg Popovich. Like he demands loyalty from his team, demands it, and demands that you play defense. So like all these all-stars that do load management, Greg Popovich just never believed in that shit. Tim Duncan was getting on his last legs and still played 70 games. And the other game, because he was injured. He was like 90,000 years old. Tim Duncan was around before dinosaurs. Like, he demands loyalty. He demands you put the effort in. A lot of these stars nowadays want load management, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. You don't get paid $30 million a year to sit out 14 games. I get like near the end of the season, you want to rest them, maybe do limited minutes. Like, there's 48 games. You have a lot of these stars playing 38 minutes a game. Or 48 minutes a game. There's a lot of these players playing 36 to 38 minutes a game. Cool. Near the end of the season, drop them to 30. Drop them to 25. You can limit their minutes. Get some depth in. Like, if you're one of those teams that you're either going to tank and you're going for draft pick, or you're one of those teams that, like, you already have so many wins that you're first in the conference, second in the conference, and you know you can lose 10 games without getting kicked out of the playoffs. Yeah, do load management that way, but don't sit them out.
I see what you're saying. I don't have any more questions, but how about this? Who's the player of the week?
Luka.
Luka?
I'm right.
Is that the answer?
Yeah. Dude, what? How is that not the easy answer? LeBron would be second, but LeBron's only second in player of the week conversation because of the accomplishment he achieved. He hasn't done. He's getting double-doubles. Luka is the answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm just trolling you a little bit.
I don't know how. I'm sure he's probably. There's 15 games. I'm sure there's been one game this season where he hasn't had some variation of a double-double or more. But like that's limited. Like I wouldn't put that past like maybe 3 games where he hasn't had a version of a double-double or higher.
I don't even know if I'd put it at 3, to be honest.
He's just that cold, and it's amazing to watch. Like, I love watching the Mavericks games. So, quick looks time. We're gonna I actually don't have Luka on my quick list because I felt like we talked about him a lot last week because I dick ride Luka, and I did it anyways. You hit me with the LeBron triple-double already, so we're going to skip over that. We're going to talk about something a little bit serious real quick. Kemba.
Yeah.
He dropped like a fucking fly. Have you seen the video?
Tatum got hurt before. I think I said Tatum got hurt before. My bad.
No, you told me Kemba.
Did I?
Yeah, because he I can't say the dude's last name. It's one of the big centers. Kemba like lost control and cracked his head off the dude's chest and like dropped.
Yeah,
I don't know if he got concussed, but like I was worried about like spinal injuries because of how hard he hit. Because he hit direct on.
Like a couple years ago, there was this linebacker in the NFL named Ryan Shazier. He went to tackle the guy head first, his head right off the back of this guy's spine, and when he hit the ground, he didn't move. He was able to flip himself over, and he just waved like get over here.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, he's actually doing really good now. He's been walking, running, working out. He's made a full recovery, and the doctors told him there's a very good chance you'll never walk again. So that just gave me flashbacks to that. Real effing scary.
I think football is a lot more aggressive. So I don't know if we're ever going to see that type of situation in basketball. Like I think the scariest thing everybody saw was that kid like snapped his leg out of the skin a couple years back, and I think it was in college. And he's making a recovery. I think he's playing overseas basketball now. But like I don't think we're ever going to see like that severe of a spinal injury in the NBA.
Well, I mean, like.
But that shit was scary. Like watching that clip, I was like.
Yeah, same thing that Kemba did though. Like has nothing to do with the violence. It's just running full speed and not.
That is true. That is true. I will say football players are a lot more explosive in those situations though. Like as much as Kemba's running full speed, like you gotta think football players are exploding into that situation. There's a whole lot more aggression on the players' part, but still terrifying.
Yeah.
So on to a little bit happier topics. PG and Kawhi played their first game together. I'm pretty sure they won. I don't even know.
They did. They won. They won in overtime.
Because
Kawhi, pretty sure Tatum drilled a three to send it to overtime
and dropped Paul George in the process. He went, and Paul went. It was lovely to watch that. He did. He went, dude. Paul George is such a great defender, but like, Kawhi was guarding like Jaylen Brown, and as much as Paul George is a great defender, I think Kawhi should have been guarding Jason Tatum because he's got the go-ahead. Whoever has the go-ahead shot, Kawhi should be guarding.
You got a good point.
Paul George, great defender. Kawhi, elite defender, and just a savage. Like whenever I think Kawhi, I go right back to the clip of the ball bouncing on the rim against the 76ers, and then
that my heart, bro, my heart
brings me joy every time I think about it. That was Game 7, wasn't it?
I think it. Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah, and Kawhi Joel Embiid walked out of there crying. Giannis walked out the next series crying. Everybody was teared up because of Kawhi.
Yeah, if you missed that shot, we were going to overtime. God knows what happens. And if the Sixers come out of that with a W, I don't have this hat.
That's true, and here we are, and you have the hat. So we're doing big things around here.
Doing big things.
So the next is a semi-serious one. Before we get into my favorite one and then the funny one. So this is a semi-serious one. Markelle Fultz was labeled as a bust from the 76ers, and he is on the Magic doing like 12-7 right now. Like he's starting to become like a good point guard, and he also dropped somebody recently. Like there's a clip on Instagram. He did a snatchback and the guy went off the screen, and that was the caption. Markelle Fultz sent him out of the arena. But I think
good times.
He's one of the 76ers did this for a while, where their rookie sat out for a year with some injury. Markelle, I don't think ever had one, but sure, let's go with that. Because you can't tell me that wasn't playing. That was like 4 rookies in a row. What? Embiid, Simmons, and Markelle are 3 rookies in a row. All of them sat out a year.
Yeah.
Dario Saric, They drafted Dario Saric, who went back overseas for 2 years. 4 rookies in a row were gone for a year to 2.
That's weird.
Yeah, you can't tell me that shit wasn't planned. Like, they develop them, they get them running against all these NBA players to get them ready, and then they put them out there as monsters instead of letting them learn on the fly. I don't know. I'd rather watch them develop in-game. But Markel's doing good on the Magic right now, so. Yeah, anything to say about Markel? I don't think you know too much about him.
No, I don't have much to say.
All right, so we've covered everything, but Carmelo Anthony has returned, and my boy got 18 points the other game. This last game, he scored 11. First game, he scored 10. And then the in-between game, he scored 18 points on 6 for 15 shooting. So not super great, like 38% or some shit like that. So not great shooting, but Melo's back, baby. He's playing power forward. He's starting, which, if you recall in episode number 1, I don't think he's going to be able to maintain his starting spot, but he's slowly proving my ass wrong.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
If he can have spurts.
He's an older guy. It's his first game, and use all that energy now. Let's see if he can keep it up.
Well, his first game, like, he was, 4 for 9 from the field, scored 10 points, 2 for 2 from the free throw. Or, no, it was 4 for 9 from the field. I don't think he shot a free throw, actually. He just cast out from 3 because that's what Melo does. But the second game, like, I think CJ McCollum wasn't hitting or something, and Melo had to step up. But still, 6 for 15 is kind of rough. You know what I mean? But it's good scoring, and that's what I'm saying. Like, Melo off the bench is amazing. I think Melo off the bench, where he's the only guy that needs the ball, would be solid. But like 6 for 15 in that scenario, like if he has to be the guy taking the shots, 6 for 15 isn't bad at all. Like that's 38%. Most people shoot 44 in the league, 44%. But if he has to share the court and is taking that many shots with like people like CJ or Dame or Yusuf Nurkic, like I'm exhausted too. I went to bed at 10:30, woke up at 2:15, and couldn't fall asleep again until 6 and got another 2 hours in.
I fell asleep around 5:30. Woke up at 11:30.
That's just rough. I don't know how you do the overnight stuff. That shit would bother me.
It's not pleasant.
You look and sound with them. No, you're good. So Melo, I think he's doing all right. Like I said, I still don't think he's gonna be able to maintain the starting spot. I think he'd be great coming off the bench, though.
Yeah. Speaking of bench players,
okay.
The 6th man of the year, Lou Williams, dropped 26 the other night.
That's so insane to me how a 6-man has that much time to get that many. So the only other person in the league that I can think of that compares to him is Brooklyn Nets Spencer Dinwiddie, which is also me just like hyping up my boy, you feel. But like Dinwiddie averages like 19 a game. But like Lou Williams, to think that like a bench player.
I don't know if he was starting or not, but I don't think he was.
No, and he's in one of those unique positions where the stars are the forwards. Like Paul George plays small forward for the Clippers, and I think Kawhi is the power forward, even though Paul George is taller. I don't know what the
Clippers, but I'm not sure.
Either way, like it's the forwards out of the stars, so they have good guards. But do you know who the guards are for the Clippers? Because I don't. I think one's last name is Alexander, but there's like 3 different Alexanders in the league, so I have no idea which one it is. But Lou Williams is in one of those scenarios where he can come off the bench after 2 guards putting in great minutes, solid work, and getting the ball to the guys that need it, and then he comes off the bench and he's the guard, or he's the guy. So he's one of those unique scenarios where he's better than the guys that are starting, which is almost strange, I think. I'm almost positive in the playoffs when he was dropping like 30 points a game, I'm pretty sure he was coming off the bench for that shit, which is strange to me.
Probably. Yeah, I don't get that, but...
No, but he's cold-blooded.
I don't know. Maybe coach is thinking like, well, we'll kill him with PG and Kawhi, and then, when their backups come in, Luke can wreck them.
Yeah, and that's such a smart idea, too.
Backups, second, you know what I mean.
Second string, yeah.
Second
but, like,
we
even have Zubac, I don't know how to say his name, the center, he's pretty good. But, like, you have realistically 2 great players and a good player, and Pat Beverly starts. That's why Lou Williams doesn't start. Pat Beverly does.
Right.
Because he is a defender, and a lot of people start their star guards first, and then that makes so much sense. You put the tough defender in, so you can shut down all the guards because there's so many good ones in the league. And then you bring in your scorer, and when they have shitty guards, nobody shut you down. That makes sense. Whoever's running the Clippers, because it's not Doc Rivers anymore, is doing a fucking stellar job.
Where's Doc Rivers now?
I don't remember. I just know he got fired last year. Toronto, maybe? You should know the answer to if he's in Toronto. Dude, where do you go?
We're both so prepared.
Facts.
It's not
I think
today.
Doc Rivers played in the NBA. Oh no, he's still the head coach for the Clippers. No,
I think he's still in the Clippers, bro.
His kid, Austin Rivers. You know Austin Rivers is his kid?
I had no idea.
Yeah, Austin Rivers got traded to, I don't know, I think he's still in the Rockets, but that just made me laugh because I remember watching a clip of Austin Rivers trying to get a ref to give his dad a technical. It made me laugh. Which the ref gave his dad a technical. So on to the funniest part of the quick looks. The king is here. He's here. Not LeBron. LeBron's not the king. Not Luka. Luka's not the king. The king is here. Almighty cashed out the other night. 100% from 3.
I want to see what
Ben Simmons is here, boys.
Oh, yeah, Ben Simmons, bro.
I saw
where the NBA will never be the same.
I saw a statistic because ESPN is reaching. Like, I remember seeing a statistic where it was like, only player in the NBA to average like 7 points a game against these 3 teams, and they're starting like ESPN reaches for like the little statistics just so they can have something. And then I saw this thing pop up on my Twitter. It was like Ben Simmons now leads the league in 3-point percentage, 1-for-1. And I was like, there should be. I mean, obviously there's no minimum for league lead, but like if he got to the 3-point contest because he made 1 3, I'd lose my shit. But I thought that was so. I don't think
he's making a 3-point contest. I think they take it a little more seriously.
No, I know, but I laughed. I was like, "Why is that the statistic that you give? Your headline should literally just read Ben Simmons hits first 3 of career in regular season, not Ben Simmons league leader for 3-point percentage. Because if you put it up on the line, I know, but that shit just makes me laugh. Like I'm like, if you put it up on the line with like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Joe Harris, the 3-point champion. That man's not making it past the center arc. Like you start him in the corner, he's not making it past the top of the key. They're already going to hit more shots than he does.
Now, Curry's broke-ass hand can make more threes than he can.
Yeah, no, it's... it just made me laugh. Ben Simmons, league leader of 3-point. I couldn't stop laughing at that.
It's a troll.
It really must be. So that's actually all the quick looks, because the other one that I had planned was for LeBron's triple-double against every team, which still is very historic, right? That's still...
I'm looking around for who ruined that one. I know.
DeMar did. See the jersey? He's on the wall.
Okay.
DeMar ruined.
Way to go, DeMar.
Yeah. It's still... That's not going to go well over on YouTube, but...
yeah, let's
that part out. It's still very historic. First player in the world to do it, and it's not one of those reaching statistics. Like, that's an actual very impressive thing.
Yeah, that's insane.
So, like, that's amazing, and it really breaks down to LeBron, being the king. I still stand by Jordan being the best player. Did you see, because now we have another additional quick look here, before we get into game predictions, a vote came out from NBA players, okay? Who they thought was the greatest of all time in basketball, and Michael Jordan won with like 49 or 50%. And then somebody went in and actually dug around, because a lot of people think that you can only pick the GOAT from who you play against. That's why LeBron is like the guy, right? Because a lot of these kids don't know who Jordan is. He retired in 2003. LeBron got drafted in 2003. I was 6 when Jordan retired. I wasn't watching basketball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
So, but it went to the point where like they went and found out how many players were in the league when Jordan was. It's Vince Carter and like, I think Vince Carter is like one of 3 or one of the only people to have been in the league when Jordan was in the league. and Jordan still won by a gigantic margin.
Yeah.
Like LeBron came in second with like 28%. So I think it's LeBron's great. LeBron's great, definitely is, but Jordan.
LeBron is great. He's going to go down as probably the best statistically, but Jordan's 6 for 6. You can say that's because of everybody he played with, but Jordan's 6 for 6.
But here's the thing. Here's what people don't realize is like you look at the course of LeBron's career in the playoffs, right? He played with Miami, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, right? 3 of his playoff runs, he had 2 All-Stars. You go to where he actually made it to the finals. You go to the Cavs. When he made it to the finals, he had Kyrie. I think he made it. He was 3 for 7, something like that. LeBron's 3 for 7, and 1 he won in Cleveland, 2 he won in Miami. But he's had at least 1 All-Star teammate with him, whether it was Kyrie or Kevin or Dwayne Wade or Chris Bosh. Michael Jordan had Scottie Pippen. And then the second run, after he came back from baseball, he had Dennis Rodman.
Man, I don't know why he freaking did that.
His dad wanted him to play baseball, and his dad got killed.
Well, that definitely was not in Space Jam.
And then why he retired. Why he retired after that, I have no idea. Because then he came back and played for the Wizards anyways. But I want everybody to think about this. Michael Jordan played from 1984 to 1993. So, 9 or 10 seasons. Then he played for another 3 years, so I think 12 or 13. We'll call it 12, because 1984 to 1985 is 1 season. And then he came back in 2000 for another 3 seasons. So Michael Jordan played 14, 15 seasons, right?
Yeah.
LeBron's in his 17th. Statistically speaking, LeBron should be way past Jordan. Jordan averaged 30 or 31 points a game for his entire career. And his Wizards
freeze at all.
Nah, he didn't start shooting.
Shot a little bit.
Yeah, but his percentage wasn't high.
I think LeBron's more of a 3 shooter than.
In latter half LeBron wasn't like that in the beginning.
No, he wasn't. Not at the beginning, but I think he's opened up more to it a little bit.
You got to open more to keep in the league, though. But no, Jordan wasn't really like that from 3. He knew his strengths, and the game was built for that back then.
Yeah.
But here's one of the things that and this is an honest opinion about the game of basketball, and not about 3-pointers, like actual fouls and defensive standards. Do you know what a hand check is?
I do, but I can't give you a definition.
Okay, so a hand check is if I'm guarding you and I put my hand on your hip, right? I can do that until you start moving. Because your hip is, joints and whatever. If you start moving and I grab you at your hip, that's a hand check, that's a foul. Okay?
Okay.
That's illegal. It's very illegal to do in just about every league right now. LeBron can't get hand checked. Now, I'm sure they get a little bit, I do it now in my rec leagues and stuff. I'll grab somebody's shorts if they get past me and pull them back a little bit while my hip's on them so the refs don't see it. I play dirty. All right, get over it. But hand checking is illegal.
This guy.
When Jordan played, hand checking was completely legal. It wasn't until Jordan was on, I think, second to last or the last season with the Wizards that hand checking was illegal. So in his older years was when he could blow by people just cause. Think about that when Jordan was in his prime, when he was most athletic. And then add those 3 or 4 seasons that he missed to that. Add another 4 31-point game or 31-point per game season. Add no hand checking. Add not the Pistons that beat everybody up. Do that, and then tell me where Jordan sits. Blows Kareem out of the water.
You got a good point. Wow.
The hand check is not one of the only arguments. You can talk rings, you can talk teammates, you can talk scoring ability, you can talk all that shit. Jordan versus LeBron. But hand checking is the legitimate difference between then and now. An actual they play the same. They drive. They shoot a little bit. Yeah. But hand checking. Like LeBron is doing so good in this era with hand checking or without hand checking. Imagine what Jordan would do.
You get a good point.
That's my one and like my closing argument for every time I get into a debate about LeBron versus Jordan. Jordan had hand checks, and Jordan had teams that would like fuck you up like bad. Bad boy Pistons beat his ass all the time. That was their like they were the Pistons with Isaiah Thomas, not the short one. Um, Bill Embiid. They just had like a bunch of enforcer type players, like a bunch of basketball people that probably played football and just got good at basketball in high school, like you if you got good at basketball. Like
I feel
that's
insulted.
that was the Pistons though,
I
and
got you.
they had Dennis Rodman. So if you ever seen clips of Dennis Rodman, just think that, but with bigger white guys to back him up. Like Bill Embiid was like 7'1", had no problem just like shoving you to the ground in the middle of the air.
Yeah.
So you put Jordan in this pansy era, which is what I'm gonna call it, because my dad beats the shit out of me every time we touch a basketball together. You put him in this pansy era where like, yeah, there's hard fouls occasionally. Draymond Green, who's a power forward, a very undersized power forward, leads the league in flagrant fouls. And what does he do to get him? He kicks them in the nuts. Like, there's no hard fouls anymore, and they're frustration fouls, and somebody gets donkey kicked in the nuts. Like that's what it is these days.
What? Never mind. I'm not even gonna go down that road.
What else you got to say?
Nothing, bro. I ain't got nothing.
So we are on the game predictions. I picked 4. I wanted to talk to you about a couple different areas as far as the games. Obviously, who's going to win, and then leading a score from each team. Cool?
Okay.
Okay, so again, we got 4 games here. The most competitive games for this week. Dallas is in 2 of them. And then I picked my best competitive game and your best competitive game. So I picked 2 of the most competitive games, and then 1 from each team. So, Toronto and 76ers.
There you go with Luka again, bro.
Dude, no, actually, the 2 teams Luka's playing this week are the Clippers and the Lakers.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so when I said competitive, I meant competitive. Like, I'm not just picking because Luka's there. Like, he's got to play LeBron and Kawhi in the same week.
Oh, no.
That sounds horrible, doesn't it?
A lot of people have to do that, though, because they're like, hey, let's just send everybody to Miami, LA at the same time.
Yeah, no, for sure. I would do the same thing if I was making the NBA schedule. Like, what's the point of, like, sending you to play against the Clippers, then making you go play against the Celtics, and then going back to the Lakers?
Yeah.
Anyway, so Toronto, 76ers. Who's winning? Who's leading the score from each team?
Oh, boy, it's gonna be a good game, to say the least. I think Toronto's gonna get it out, gonna get that W. It's either for Toronto's leading scorer, it's either gonna be Siakam or Van Fleet.
Van Vliet is cold. I haven't really paid attention to him, but I know he can shoot.
Because I think Lowry's still out, but I'm not positive on that one.
I'm not sure. So you think it's going to be Toronto with leading scorer being Siakam or Van Vliet?
Yeah.
Who's going to, if you think the Sixers are going to win, or not the Sixers, if the Sixers are going to lose in your mind, who's leading scorer on the Sixers?
Well, look at all those 3-pointers. I'm kidding.
Ben Simmons going to get 42 points.
I'm thinking it's gonna be Embiid. Probably Embiid.
Probably. I'm gonna have to take a different side on this one. 76ers are gonna win. There's too much firepower. I'm thinking Tobias Harris because he's been on a roll recently, which is kind of an odd pick. I feel like for the Sixers because they have so many scoring options. But I'm gonna say Harris and Siakam without a doubt. Siakam's he's getting to that next level and it's very fun to watch. So, the next one, which I picked this literally the day before I found out Kemba got injured.
Oh, no.
So, Brooklyn versus Boston.
Brooklyn versus Boston, eh?
Yeah. Who's winning?
Is Kyrie still playing, or is he hurt?
Kyrie's playing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Kyrie's their leading scorer. Boston wins. Leading scorer in Boston, Tatum.
I could see that, yeah. You think Boston's going to win?
Yeah, I'm going to say it's going to be a weird game. I'm going to say like 104 to 98, 96.
The only reason I'm going to put it on Brooklyn, because Boston's got a lot of firepower, and that's true. The only reason I'm going to put it on Brooklyn is because nobody at the guard spot is going to hold Kyrie with Kemba out.
You got a good point.
Like Daniel Theis, Jared Allen can ballot it out down low. Spencer Dinwiddie's got, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Like, we have good players. Joe Harris is a good defensive guard. Well, he plays small forward. But, like, the one position where there's a severe mismatch is that point guard. Kemba's out. It doesn't matter who you have on the bench. You traded Terry Rozier. He was your backup, and he was great, but it's Kyrie. So I'm going to say Brooklyn. Leading score, Kyrie. Leading score on the Celtics. You got to say Tatum. You got to say Tatum. All right, so now on to the competitive games that don't involve our team. We're going to start with Dallas versus the Clippers. What's going on there?
Oh, I don't know. Dallas has been dropping a lot, man. Like, a lot.
What do you mean by dropping? Like, Luka's dropping dimes.
I think one of their games finished like 148 to 120 or something. Like,
they don't have any depth. I'll give them that.
That was probably an overtime game, but Luka's obviously their leading scorer. It's either him or Porzingis.
It's Luka. It's not even an argument.
I'm gonna say it's Luka, unless Luka's having a real bad night.
I don't even think if Luka had a bad night that it's gonna be Porzingis. I'm being honest with you. It's gotta be Luka. They don't have a choice.
There's nobody else.
There really isn't. Porzingis isn't back yet. I mean, he's back, but he's not.
He's not full. Yeah, I got you. I don't know, man. I think I have to give this one to LA.
Leading scorer on the Clippers.
I'm gonna go PG. Unless Kawhi's load managing that night, then Luka's gonna win that game. Say Luka instead of the Mavericks.
I like how you said Luka instead of the Mavericks. I think I'm gonna side with the Clippers on this one, as much as I love Luka. Obviously, leading scorer for the Clippers or Mavericks has got to be Luka. I don't think Kawhi's on load management, so we're good there. As far as leading scorer, PG is the go-to scorer. Kawhi gets clutch buckets, yes, but Paul George is like the guy that they give the ball to.
Yeah.
Literally, like, he touches the ball every possession, without a doubt. So Paul George leading scorer with heartbeat. Next one. The Mavericks versus the Lakers. These games are only competitive because Luka is playing. That's the worst part. Like, it's funny though. Do you remember anything about the Mavericks before when Dirk was there?
Not really, man. They weren't explosive at all.
Dirk was. I feel like this is the same shit that's happening. Like, Dirk had like Jason Kidd there. Like, he had a couple people surrounding him that were kind of like out of their prime. And I feel like that's what's going on with Luka. Like, Porzingis is there, but is he really there? Like, he's a skeleton. But like, I'm watching Luka do the same shit Dirk did 8 years ago in 2011, and it blows my mind. Anyways, Lakers versus Mavericks. The winner is very clear, so that's not even a question.
Oh, is it?
The Lakers, easy. Tell me you disagree. Lakers and the Mavericks, and you're gonna tell me the Mavericks gonna win that game? Go ahead, tell me.
Luka's a game changer, bro.
You just said they're going to lose to Kawhi and PG. You're telling me they're not going to lose to LeBron, AD, Alex Caruso, Kyle Kuzma, KCP, Avery Bradley. You're telling me they're not going to lose to all those guys? But you think he's going to lose to Paul George and Kawhi Leonard?
Listen, brah.
There's no listen, bro. It's the Lakers. It's got to be.
Which game's first?
Clippers, I think. Because I went down in order. Okay. Clippers versus the Mavs.
Then, yeah.
Lakers?
It's going to be close, but I don't know, man. It's hard to pick against Luka 2 nights in a row. It really is.
You know what I'm going to do to help him out, Luka specifically? I'm going to get back in shape. I'm going to drop maybe like 90 pounds, go try out for the Mavs, be the starting 2 guard, because they need one. I'm just going to cash out from the corner. I'll be the next option for the Mavericks.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna let you wear work boots and jeans, bro. I see you play like that.
Listen, man, I got shorts, sneakers. I don't want to hear it. but they need the help, and I'm coming out of retirement. Give me about 6 months to lose weight. I'll be ready for next season.
Yeah, Lakers win. Luka's their leading scorer for the Mavs.
Yeah.
Who's the leading scorer for LA? It's going to be LeBron. It's going to be AD. It's going to be Danny Green.
It's not going to be Danny Green.
It's not
going to be Danny Green. And it's damn sure not going to be Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I'm going to put money on, I'm going to say AD this time. I think AD is going to be leading scorer.
Old unibrow.
Old unibrow. And I'm going to say Lakers win, and then leading scorer for the Mavericks is going to be Luka. But you think about it, like, Porzingis can't body Anthony Davis.
No. God, no.
Yeah, so, like, it's not even a question. Boban Marjanovic can body Anthony Davis. Boban can give him the work. I saw a clip last year of Boban holding the ball up in the air, and Anthony Davis can't even touch it. Boban's 7'3", and his standing reach is like 9'5" or some dumb shit like that. Like, he barely has to jump to dunk a basketball.
That's insane.
And Anthony Davis is 6'11" and couldn't reach the basketball. Like, he had to hop to tap it. And Boban's a cheat code. Love it. He had a PER of 50+ last year.
Yeah, that's insane, man. Anything else?
I think that's about it for games this week. And we don't have any other hot takes or quick looks. I feel like we need to rename some of these segments because they don't sound so cool.
Yeah, we need to come up with something else for those. But, yeah. So, we good?
I think, yeah. You got stuff you got to go do?
Kind of.
All right. So, you want to do the outro? You got to plug social media, too. Don't forget that.
You do that, then.
All right. You guys check the description down below. You're going to find out that we have an Instagram, we have a Twitter.
Should be right around there.
Just go to below.
Yeah,
the Instagram and the Twitter both get a clip posted to them Sunday night. A quick clip from the podcast that you guys are seeing today. These go live 8 a.m. every Monday morning. We remind you on both Instagram and Twitter. Also, you guys can follow the SoundCloud down below because that's the other place that this podcast is on if you want it in audio format. I think that's about all we got for you guys. Follow us on socials. Subscribe to the channel. I don't think we have any goals. We're just trying to grow. We're having a lot of fun with the basketball podcast.
Hit the sub button.
Hit the sub button. Drop a like. I did want to say, we have like 4 subscribers on the channel, but we got like 8 views on episode 1. And like 4 or 5 likes. So, this is dope.
That's pretty good. I didn't even know that.
That's some solid support, I think. And then the first video clip of last week's podcast I went on Instagram is sitting at like 110 views. I did use hashtags on it though, so I wonder if that had anything to do with it. But that might be why the Instagram's growing. Anyways, Cole's got to go. We got to bounce. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.